had this concept in mind. I wanted to combine transformation in music, and I have another podcast which I thought to put them together, and then after doing the course that I did earlier this year, I realized, look, it's best to keep them separate, not blur the lines, keep them as two separate, one's for music and fun and dancing and share my creative, and the other one is also to expand on the people that I have worked with and people who inspire me, people that I think can really make a difference and share some great stories and tips and tactics in the music industry.
So how long you been a DJ?
It's 25 years since I was like 16. So I have been doing it since I was a kid.
Wow. And what exactly motivate you to be a DJ? What was your motto?
I think, look, I was always fascinated by radio as a young kid, radio and music videos, and I loved hip hop culture. And when I learnt about what happens behind in music production, and I discovered my mother's records at a young age, and I heard the music that was in hip hop, like the samples. So the sampling was a big part of that, and I thought, I want to learn more about this, and I wanted to get more into it. And I got my first DJ gig when I was 16 for a friend's birthday, and I just love sharing music and just being able to create an atmosphere and make people dance, and yeah, that's and it's been a ride since then.
So when you are a DJ, when you play, what exactly you thinking in that moment? There like some stuff coming to you that you transform in your hands when you're mixing the music. What exactly happens to you when you are working?
Sure, that's a good question. I enjoy. And this has evolved over time. I feel like I think I've developed some kind of memory muscle, because I have a way with remembering music, and so when I'm putting music together, it's a story. Like, I try to, especially because the kind of music that I play is all about keeping this sort of level of vibration and keeping people at a particular emotional state, and connecting with them, and I think so when I'm actually putting the music together, depending on, as I watch the room, and I'm watching and I'm paying attention to what the responses are, and if I'm and a big thing is as well is I like to what I call peaks and valleys. Like, I like to kind of bring people into a place of where it's not so high intensity, but it's still driving them, and then bring them back up again, but not, still keeping the same kind of tempo. That's if I'm doing a proper dance floor set. But yeah, and I play a whole range of different electronic music and dance music, so it really depends on the party as well. So if I am playing a particular sort of theme where it's very more like world music sort of sounds, then I like to sort of take them around the world and take them to different places. If I'm playing straight up like a proper American New York style house set, which is one of my favorites, I will, again, like, I like to connect the jazz, the soul, and again, then there's a lot of Afro rhythms, Latin rhythms as well. So, yeah.
So you need to use a lot of your intuition.
Yes. It is very much about connecting with your heart, and that's the way I do it anyway. I like to kind of really feel the music and really feel I very rarely drink when I'm DJing. Like I so that I can have a level of sort of awareness and with what's going on around me. And so that's definitely a big part of it, is connecting with the heart and intuition.
I feel that because when you're on the dance floor, like as a dancer, right? And when you're listening to your favorite DJs do their set, like the music, just you got to feel the energy of not only the DJ but also the music. You know what they're putting out there. So I can definitely see how you need to be able to for it to be intuitive.
Absolutely.
And so, do you have moments in your career where you said, "Oh, tonight was like sucked because probably your level of energy was not there"?
Oh God, yeah, very much, absolutely. That's happened before many times, and I think that's what you develop is you start to learn that resilience, and I mean, I spent the last 3 years before COVID hit working with a venue every week, mostly, Thursday, Friday nights, finishing at 3 a.m. And you have to perform. Like, you have to be in this certain level to constantly give people that energy, so you have to be in that state. And I guess I've learned to develop that muscle, so to speak.
Yeah, but because a lot of people think that, oh, the DJs drink, the DJs, is party, but no, the DJs are actually don't do anything because they are focused on giving that energy, that music for people that's getting drunk and having all kind of things. But if the DJs is drunk, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, look. I think even before a lot of famous musicians and artists, there have been many people who have been able to DJ or perform as a musician intoxicated. That we know all these famous musicians before us that were able to do that. I think, especially in this day and age now, people have evolved. People are just learning to be a bit more in that space, in a creative art space, performance space. Are learning, and not to say that we don't drink at all and not enjoy ourselves, and it's not like we're all trying to be monks or anything. It's just there is a level of responsibility. You can't just go out there and just get totally wasted when you're DJing. So it's some people operate well when they are. It just I've noticed myself over years, because I used to drink a lot and a whole other things too when I was younger, and you just can't do that anymore. Like, you just, like, not because I've gotten older, but just because I want to perform better, and I want to be a better artist. I want to be a better a DJ, and I find myself a lot more aware and conscious of what I'm doing, and I end up having a much better time in the end, because I feel good about my DJ set. I feel good about making the people happy, and so I absolutely feel strongly about that. I feel a lot better to be more aware of my surroundings.
Of course, because I can imagine, you like drunk and all intoxicated. What exactly you gonna give to people? If you are like in this set of mind and you are like, if you love your career, that's your art. So when you are an artist, you have to cultivate that and be very, very disciplined to create all this beautiful music to elevate the energy of the other people.
Correct. Absolutely. And it took time, especially because that environment, it can be there's a lot of temptation, and there's a lot of influence from other people, and the thing is, once you start to DJ professionally, and you're having to travel and move around a lot, and like I've done it before, where gone with no sleep and gone onto planes and gone there, and it's just, you just feel crap. You don't perform well. You you learn the hard way. You learn the hard way, and I guess that as you get older as well and wiser, you want to do a better job and be able to make the next plane without without feeling trashed.
So when was your aha moment that everybody noticing you? Because I know a lot of people wants to be a DJ. Some people wants to be a DJ, and people think that it's just to play and then it's gonna get famous, or they're gonna get a lot of contracts. How long did it take you to start like feeling like, oh, this is what I am. This is what I come here to this world to do.
Yeah, it took some time for me. I think it significantly in the last 10 to 12 years there was a shift, but it's only really in recent years have I guess developed more of a solid network, and regular work as a DJ. Sometimes it happens a lot earlier for some other people. I think personally, it was also a reflection of my own belief systems and my own views of myself. And once I started to let go of old stories and old beliefs and old traumas, it aligned me, it expanded me, it became more, and I felt myself being a lot more worthy of it, or so to speak, and more aligned with the work. And it changed the narrative and the way I saw myself as a DJ. I wasn't someone trying to make it. I just did it. And just you start to change that language, and that changed because so did my habits, and that was a gradual process over these last 10, 12 years. And that has a lot to do with wanting to learn about transformation and adapting that into because when you work as a DJ, I have a lot of other roles that I play and a lot of other work that I do, and so at the end of the day, you are a DJ, you are whatever other services that you do, and you're your own entrepreneur. So there's a business aspect to it. And you need to, and in order to succeed as a business, as an entrepreneur, I mean, because one thing is being your art, but you need to be an entrepreneur as well. So in order to do that, you need to be able to communicate with people right. You need to be able to be a business person. And so you got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe, and you got to change these things. You got to change what are the blocks that are preventing you from getting those gigs, and preventing you from, and really understanding what it is that you're trying to do. Like what's your, because there, just like in any other profession, there are so many DJs on the planet, but everyone's unique. Everyone has their own story, their own way of doing things, and their own way of presenting themselves. So that, I guess it was part of learning to find my voice and learning to find my own path. And as I started to peel those layers, I guess things started to evolve more. Yeah.
So why you shift? Why was the thing that made you to shift?
What was it that made me shift?
Yes.
Look, as I said before about, being intoxicated. I wanted a healthier lifestyle. I was either I thought if I really love my music and I really love this career, and I can't go on the way I'm going, because I'm not going to succeed this way. I'm not going to succeed if I'm always getting trashed and not really being focused and really being serious about this job and about what I'm doing. And that's when I realized that, it wasn't just a matter of changing my behavior, it was also about changing my thought process and changing my beliefs and changing a lot of other stuff, because I realized that, that's what I need to do. So it's like, and I'm so grateful that I've made that decision, because I'm grateful that I have wanted to create a career in music, because it's like it's not just music. I think I could say this for anyone that wants to create their own job or create their own career. There is a level of discipline. There's a level of resilience. It's a process, and it's something it's a development process, and you put the time in. It's like someone that wants to, by the end of the year, have a great physique. If you got to put the work in, you got to go to the gym, you got to do the work. And I'm grateful for doing that, because I've been able to overcome old patterns and old stories and become a better version of myself as a result. So I'm really, really grateful for that.
I think you wanna become the DJ of the angels.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So I know that you and I are both, we both like Joe Dispenza. And
Yes.
And so you were talking about making a conscious change in your spirituality and your beliefs and everything like that. So can you share a little bit about your journey in that regard?
Yeah, definitely. Look, as I mentioned, the last 10, 12 years is where I would say I've been practicing yoga and meditation since I was a young boy. I was always into martial arts, so like Eastern philosophy was always an interest, and also I studied like yoga. I'm a certified yoga teacher as well.
Me too.
And excellent. And so I over time, so those 10, 12 years ago, it became more intensified when I wanted to learn more about personal development and transformation. And I guess I started this journey. I had left Australia, I moved to Dubai, and since then I've just been working out, learning more and more to find what works for me, so that I can incorporate that into my music and incorporate it with my work. So a couple of years ago, aside from all these other great people in transformation that have been that I've learned a lot of things from, I came across Joe Dispenza's work, and I found it to be so revolutionary and so much more like prolific in the way to sort of reprogram and using hypno kind of therapy, let's sort of change, like reprogramming yourself, and with meditation. And it just resonated with me. Like, I saw him talk, I saw his talks and interviews, and I just found it to be like kind of like a missing piece of the puzzle of all the other information that I've come across. And it made me even understand yoga and yoga theory so much more, because it was kind of Dr. Joe describes it in a modern way, like. I mean, he even goes far as to not calling chakras. He calls them energy centers, because he just doesn't want to kind of like get people, you know, steer away from, I guess, because a lot of people get, you know, oh, chakras, oh, you're into chakras. When you call them energy centers, people think, oh, it's a bit more scientific, you know. And so,
right.
Yeah.
For square minds.
Yeah, and even
scientific.
activating chakras and the pineal gland exercise. I mean, it's Kundalini yoga.
Yes.
You know, but he doesn't call it Kundalini. You know, like But I think the amazing thing about Dr. Joe as well, like back in when he was in a documentary years ago, 2004, called "What the Bleep We Know," and
I love that.
When I saw him in that documentary, I was like, wow, this guy's amazing. He was kind of like him and this Japanese professor were the two guys that stood out in that documentary, in that film.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dr. Joe disappeared for 10 years. I think it was, you know, like going off.
The angel want me to tell, is the angel like, hey, let's put the music now. I'm sorry.
So Dr. Joe went off, he disappeared for like 10 years, and all of a sudden he's resurfaced again. And I came across his work a couple of years ago, and then I went to his retreat at the start of this year, and it was just mind-blowing. Like, I went through a crazy experience 2 times during the retreat, the conference, and he came to Dubai. And I'd already read a couple of his books and started practicing some stuff. I even participated in a couple of live streams last year. And so being in that environment and going to that conference, all sorts of things happened. And I highly recommend it to anyone that ever wants to sort of really explore that and do the work. And so since then, this year's just been incredible. Like, from even when we spoke, Kia, up until now, like from the last time we spoke, my life has just completely turned around. Like, if I explain to you what's happened, it's unbelievable. I'm pinching myself, and it's because I diligently do his meditations every day. Sometimes I'll meditate 3 to 4 hours a day, and it's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I'm so excited for you. So I guess my next question for you is, what is going on with you right now? What because when we last spoke, it was like just Corona was kicking off. And we were all a bit unsure of what was going to happen to any of us. And we were going into a time period where it was going to be really difficult for DJs and certain other professions to be working and book gigs.
Yeah.
And things like that. So since then, that was like March, maybe. What's
April,
been going on?
Yeah. Well, since then, I mean, I basically hadn't earned an income from February up until, like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago, and so not even I actually just got. I've done some projects, a couple of jobs that very small, but about 3-4 weeks ago, an opportunity came to the surface, and I honestly believe, like, I know it in my heart, I know it in my soul, that this job came, like, I guess I resonated with it, I manifested, aligned myself with it, whatever. It appeared as a result of all this work that I've been doing, both in the metaphysical stuff, like with meditation, and changing a lot of stuff, and it just completely, like, all my work that I've done up until this point in my career as a DJ, as a broadcaster, as distribution and tour management, artist management, work label management, all these roles that I've worked on. And when we met, I was, lost work. I didn't know what to do. I joined the London Reel with some of my last bit of money that I had, and to do the course. And literally, like a week and a half ago, I had $300 left in my account, and I got paid, 3 months in advance. I got a contract with my new agency that I've set up. The client is like one of the biggest music businesses in the region at the moment. I'm their head consultant for setting up their online radio station, and I'm programming the music on the station. My podcast, Electronic Music Man, is just going crazy. People are loving it. I've got interviews coming left, right, and center. My other music podcast now is a weekly live broadcast show on Saturdays. It doesn't end. It's still going. There's so many more things coming up in the pipeline, and it's just phenomenal what's happened in the last few months.
The point is sometimes the point is sometimes life put you in a place that you think you're gonna in desperation, and then that desperation doesn't let you think. But when you are meditating and when you are in the process of changing, yes, you get a little bit nervous, but you control that, and you know some way it's gonna come. In some way it's gonna come, but you need to believe on that.
I had to.
If not, it would not come anything to you if you don't believe it.
Like there was a moment. Like even when Kia sat with me on one time for 2 hours on a call one day. She put aside the work and she sat with me we were talking, and I was so grateful that she did that, because honestly I had no one to talk to, and you were there for me there, Kia. So I really appreciate it. And I was going through a moment. I was going through a really dark place at that time, and I had to really, like, even I live in a villa here with a few other people, and even them, like, I was I was that housemate, but I was very close to packing my life from here, and something inside me said to me, no, stay, stick it out. Something's going to give. Just keep working through it. My job, and I'm just going to keep banging out this podcast. I'm going to keep banging out this podcast. Publish, get it out, get it out there. And lo and behold, that podcast and the noise that I was making got these guys' attention. And what happened was I followed these, because I knew of these two DJs, and I followed them on Instagram. And I knew they were involved with this organization, and they followed me back straight away. The next day, one of them rang me and said, "We want you to work for us." That's how it happened. I just followed them on Instagram, and boom, and my whole life just changed. Like, I got paid for 3 months in advance. Who does that?
And this moment is not too many people.
No.
I got, it's crazy. And there's other clients now emerging. I'm now working with another client who wants me to help produce music with bringing artists together. It's just, I honestly just can't believe it. I can, because I honestly believe that it's all part of this massive change that happened to me at the start of this year, and the work that I've been putting into it. And it's just been a huge turnaround. Unbelievable.
How many episodes do you have in your podcast?
The podcast is hitting 14. It's been running for a couple of months now. So yeah.
How many?
We're looking at about 14. 14.
14?
I interviewed someone today, which I'm excited to get out. I've got I've got like 4 episodes I haven't